Am I the asshole? That's a question we gotta ask ourselves sometimes, man. Because sometimes the answer gonna be yes. Everybody can act out. Everybody can be an asshole sometimes. But that doesn't make you an asshole, right? Why am I talking so much about asshole? Well, that's a valid question. Today, we're gonna be reading the Reddit page, Am I the Asshole? And if you're new around here, which you most likely are, this is an ongoing series on the channel. Ongoing, very inconsistent, but ongoing. And this is actually episode 10, believe it or not. So, if you're just coming in for the first time, welcome to episode 10 of Am I the Asshole? If you're unfamiliar with what Am I the Asshole is or what the Reddit page is, well, let me fill you in. Am I the Asshole is pretty simple, y'all. People just come up here and they type in stories of something that happened to them, something somebody did to them, something they did to somebody else, or, you know, maybe somebody else is saying they're an asshole for some reason, so they're coming to Reddit to get a second opinion. I'm not going to talk about if that's a sound method or not, but for our purposes, this is great. This is great. So without further ado, let's get into some reading. Am I the asshole for leaving my mom alone at a restaurant on her birthday without paying? Damn! Oh God. Perhaps important context to preface. My 17... Okay, so the person who wrote this is 17-year-old male. My father died a few months ago, long story, so we all haven't really been in the best place. After my dad died, I immediately got a part-time job alongside school to help out, and had saved up some money. It was my mom's birthday, so I decided to treat her to a meal at a restaurant. We get there and place our orders, and they take perhaps a bit longer than usual, but not that long, to come out. When our food arrives, my mom makes a snarky comment to the waitress about the service time, and the waitress apologizes, saying they're short-staffed today. The waitress leaves, and I thought that was the end of that. After eating her starter, my mom notices they made her main wrong, and immediately gets up and goes to find the waitress again. I beg her not to make a scene, but she ignores me. She was not satisfied with the waitress' initial response and began publicly berating her. It became a very one-sided screaming match. Amongst other things I can't write here, she called her a whore, bitch, and asked if she was so that she couldn't follow basic instructions. She was screaming about how her husband had just died and she just wanted to have a nice birthday, but it was ruined thanks to this racial slur I won't repeat, but which I have never ever heard her say in my life before this. The waitress was already crying by this point. The manager tried to throw my mom out and threatened to call the police. She wouldn't leave, so he called them. Let me read this shit normal. I'm sorry, I was just taken back. Honestly, at this point, I was just so mortified and embarrassed that I got my stuff, apologized to the waitress, and gave her all the cash in my wallet, which would have been enough to cover what I ordered, but not much beyond that. If I had stayed, I would have paid by card, and walked out of the place and took the bus home. My mom had driven us there. When she got home, she was fuming and started screaming at me, saying that if I had taken her side, it wouldn't have gotten to that point, and I should have at least tried to de-escalate the situation, as I knew it was her birthday and she hasn't been doing well recently. I told her that I had never seen such poor behavior and that she acted appallingly, and that for someone of her age who was supposed to be a role model, she should be ashamed. She then threw my phone on the floor and grounded me until I understand family values. So Reddit, what could I have done differently here? Am I the asshole for just straight up ditching her and then talking back to her when she got home? Should I have given her more grace? Am I the asshole? There's low-key a lot to unpack with this one. So obviously losing a husband is extremely traumatic, right? It's something I obviously can't relate to, and I'm sure a lot of you watching can't relate to. And if you can, I am terribly sorry for your loss. But it always goes back to, you know, it's never okay to put your pain on other people, you know, and berate other people because you're in pain. That starts to suck away some of that empathy, you know? Just like, yeah, what happened to her is terrible, but that in no way gives her a right to do something terrible to somebody else. I mean, from trying to say that she's disabled and can't understand basic instructions, calling her a whore, bitch, and then of course I'm assuming the N-word, judging by how he had a whole thing talking about racial slur I won't repeat, yada yada yada. I'm just assuming it's the big one. So it's like, when you see this, right, you think, okay, here's this woman that lost her husband, I feel very bad. And then you see her in here, I mean, she's trying to check all the boxes for the worst shit you can say to a human being. then it's like, ooh, how bad can I feel for her, you know? And it feels kind of cold to say that, but like, y'all heard what I just read, right? And then on top of all that, right? On top of all that, even if you could somehow just write that off as an episode, oops, just some casual racism, some casual fucking ableist vibes, you know, alongside with a little sprinkle of racism in there with it. She trying to cook up the perfect pot of bullshit. But then on top of all that, bro, you know what she served as the side? A little bit of parental manipulation. She came home and she said, nah, fuck that. I need some mental manipulation. I need some verbal abuse. I need to keep it going. I'm on a roll. Golly, at that point, once I'm reading until I understand family values, get the fuck out of here, man. Family values? Mom, you just called her. Like, bro, what are we? Mom. Oh my gosh, bro. Don't even talk to me. I'm sitting here trying to, where'd that even go? I don't know why I imagine they had Waffle House with this one, just cause like, just the nature of this conflict feels like it taking place in a Waffle House. Like, Mom, I'm here trying to get my damn all-star combo and you throwing out every damn slur or offensive thing to every group of people in the fucking country. And then I come home, you tell me, you throw my phone on the ground and tell me I don't understand family values? Yeah, all right. That's exactly how you end up in a nursing home. Take notes, parents, okay? Jeez. So it is hard to leave your mom in a damn cafe or a Waffle House by herself. That's hard, man. She's in so much trauma, but that don't make stuff like that okay, man. Maybe if she just complained about the order, maybe right, like certain things you could be like, I'm sorry, you know, she got a little worked up, she's going through a lot. But once you start to throw in the racial slurs and the real hate, you know what I'm saying? Like, you lost me. There probably could be more conversation had on this topic, and if you have an angle or a perspective that I didn't think of or mention, please let me know. But based on just what I'm thinking right now and what I've said, I would say this person's not the asshole. Okay, it's understandable. I wouldn't want to associate with somebody who's speaking to people like that. That's not right. That's not okay. And it would be hard if it was my mom, but I think I might take off too, bro. Cause like, I'm not finna be around that associating with that, and I'm certainly not finna take your side. You know how bad that makes me look, Mom? You're out of your mind. You're not the asshole, my friend. Am I the asshole for bringing up my sister's failed marriage and calling her a cunt? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Buckle up. This is a burner account. You know this shit about to be crazy. My birthday was a few weeks ago. I usually don't like to make a big deal out of birthdays, but they're very important to my mom, so she held a small family gathering at her and my dad's house to celebrate. I'd gotten a few gifts and my husband handed me an envelope. He is a small celebrity and had given me his autograph as a present. Everyone was familiar with his humor and our dynamics, so they all immediately recognized it as a joke and laughed. He then gave me an actual present in case anyone was wondering. Later, my cousin texted me screenshots of my sister shit-talking my husband and saying I was so obsessed with fame that I let him treat me like shit. She is going through a divorce right now, so instead of immediately getting mad, I called my sister to hear her out. She doubled down, saying that if I had any self-respect, I'd divorce him because he's abusive. I tried explaining that it was a joke and that we often make playful jabs at each other, but we both know the other person's boundaries and when it's going too far. She responded by saying I should go back to the psych ward for how delusional I was being, and again told me to get a divorce. Rapidly losing my patience, I told her that I appreciate her concern, but my marriage is my business and I am very happy with my relationship. She'd run out of insults apparently because she just repeated that I needed to be in a psych ward and my husband is abusive. This time adding that I probably only love him because he's just like my father. To info dump a bunch of context, my biological father is a very terrible person who is in jail and not allowed to have any contact with me or my mom. I have struggled with a multitude of mental illnesses my entire life. When I was 13, I had psychosis, and not knowing what else to do, my parents admitted me to a psych ward. It was the single most traumatizing experience of my life. All that to explain why her comments got me so angry and hurt so much. I was used to her telling me to go to a psych ward. It's the only good insult she's ever come up with, so she says it whenever she's mad at me. But her comparing my husband to a monster and calling that monster my father when our dad has raised me my entire life. Okay, I see what she means. They took offense to, her sister calling that monster her father when that's not recognized as her father at all. I replied by saying, just because you fucked up your third marriage by being too much of a massive cunt doesn't mean you get to try and fuck up mine before hanging up. Okay. Initially, I didn't think this was that bad of an insult. I'm fully aware that it was too harsh, but we've both said worse stuff to each other before. My sister told pretty much our whole family, and while a few are neutral, most, including my parents, are furious. I thought that I was just giving back what she dished out, but I'm starting to wonder if I really fucked up. Am I the asshole? Now you know damn well she hit your parents up.
Yeah, I was just trying to check on her and
Like, bro, shut that shit right up. You know she told a whole, man, that shit boiled my blood just thinking about it. Imagine the story she told, right? Because obviously if she told the truth, the parents hopefully wouldn't be this mad. Because when somebody, look, I've never been in a psych ward, right? I've seen that world. Being thrown in there as a 13-year-old child, I cannot imagine the terror, the trauma. I mean, whew. It gives me chills, and I'm thankful I didn't have to experience that. And I'm sorry if you or anyone you knew has. So for you to be throwing that trauma in the face of somebody who you know struggles with mental health issues, I'm looking at you crazy crooked. That's okay. I'm not gonna say definitively you're a bad person, but I'm gonna say definitively you're a bad person. And then if there was any doubt, she threw in the father thing, right? She knew calling that man her father would upset her, right? And that's exactly why she did it. And that's another traumatic thing that she threw in her face. She's literally throwing her sister's trauma in her face for the purpose of hurting her, cutting deep, because she's so bitter she's losing her marriage that she now feels she has to break her sisters apart. And when her sister doesn't let her do that dumb shit, she gets mad. And then she starts saying all of this terrible stuff. I mean, you wouldn't say this damn near to your worst enemy. Like, and she's saying this to her sister. And I feel she was pretty patient. You know, I mean, she let her sister say the obsessed with fame thing, called him a monster multiple times. If you had any self-respect, you divorce him because he's abusive. She said all this stuff. And the person who wrote this stayed calm, okay? You finally pushed her to a boiling point when you brought up that bitch ass man that you don't call her father, bro. Like, you knew what you were doing. You were trying to get a reaction. Hold on. Maybe this was her plan. She was trying to work her up so that she could play the victim and be like, oh, my. I'm not trying to hear that shit, bro. But obviously her parents were. They bought that sob story. They ate that shit right up. So I'm gonna be so honest. I think I agree with you. Like, it is jarring to hear, but when you read the whole scenario and you think about the things her sister said to her, she damn near let her off easy, bro. I would have dumped the clip. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, right? Because responding to anger and hatred with more anger and hatred is only gonna make more anger and hatred, but it's understandable and it's a very human response, especially when somebody who's supposed to love you and care about you is throwing these traumatic things in your face. I mean, that's just awful. And I mean, the father, there's very little information, but he says he's a terrible person who is in jail and not allowed to have any contact with me or my mom. One can only assume the types of things he might have done. So for you to bring that up and use that against your own sister is there's no other word to describe it other than disgusting. Any response she would have had, calling her a cunt or worse, I think is justified. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's justified. I'm saying it's understandable. And I'm saying you are not the asshole. Am I the asshole for dropping my kids off with my wife when she is with a grieving friend? My wife's best friend, Jessie, lost her husband about a month ago. My wife has been at her home almost every single day since. My job has me being on call some nights and money is tight, so I can't not be on call. I know Jessie is struggling, but it is stressing me out a ton to be basically a single parent since my wife is never home. I've talked to her about cutting back, but that ends in an argument about me being heartless. Yesterday I was on call and I actually got called in. I couldn't leave our two daughters home alone, 6 years old and 9 years old, so I called my wife telling her she needs to head home now. I need to leave. She told me no, and to figure it out. We don't have the money for a sitter, my parents live too far away, her parents aren't allowed near the kids, they suck, and my friends have their own lives and families. So I packed up the kids, and on my way to work, I dropped them off at Jessie's house. My wife was pissed that I did that. When I got back, we got into a huge argument, and I told her that she actually needs to be a parent, that I am very sick of her playing house at Jesse's when we have our own kids. She thinks I am a heartless fucking man because I told her to be a parent to our own kids. Am I the asshole? Okay, off the rip, here's my thoughts, y'all. A marriage is a big commitment. Okay, and having kids is an even bigger commitment, because guess what? I won't say your life is over, but your life as you know it is over, because you are no longer the priority. This child or children, they are your priority. You have to take care of them and make sure they're okay. And just another point on marriage in general, it's meant to be a team thing, especially when you have children. If you have, the father has to go work or the mother has to go work, the other parent should be willing to make some sacrifices to make sure the kids are good. I mean, that's just how that works, is it not? So of course she should be supporting her friend, like go over there, spend time with her, make sure she's good. But the way this is explaining it makes it seem like she's literally been there staying with her for a month. That's just not realistic to expect of any grown person with children, okay? And it seems like the mom might be using that as an excuse to get away from the kids. Or maybe the husband, I don't know. Obviously, we don't know their domestics. But I mean, I don't really see what other choice he had other than to either not go to work, but you're struggling on money. And then if, he came up short or y'all came up short, I'm sure there would be a conflict over the money, even though he literally tried to work. So his only option was to bring the kids to you, you know what I'm saying? Rather, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? That's what people be saying. I'm not going to vouch for that being good advice, so... And this line right here really bothers me the most, y'all. She told me no and to figure it out. Damn. She talking to him like some sort of ex or something. Like they got some beef. Like, damn. He's just saying like, I gotta work. We gotta pay these bills. We can't even afford a babysitter. You think I can afford to not go to work? And she like, yeah, bro, I'm hearing you, but I'm not hearing you. Shut that shit up, figure it out. And hung up on it. Hey, that's not the type of wife I aspire to have in the future. Okay. And I'm sure that's not the type of husband, partner, whatever that any of y'all would want to have. That's just ridiculous. Being like, I know there are kids, but you're going to have to handle that, bro. I need to spend another month and a half with her. She's sad. Like, bro, you could at least come home for a few hours, you know what I'm saying? While he's at work at least. Like, damn, are your kids that bad? Honestly, you needed to tell her, like, you need to be a parent. You need to stop doing this. You need, call her heartless, whatever, bro. I hate to be the one to tell you, but just from this little bit of information I got from this Reddit, it seemed like you might be in trouble with the one you chose. But I can't say that definitively, but just based on these signs, I'll be praying for you, bro. But you are not the asshole, my friend, so you can at least take solace in knowing that, bro, because that's about all I got for you. Man, I forgot how much I love doing this stuff, y'all, for real. Just hearing about people's stories and just, I don't know, just thinking about these scenarios and, I don't know, just kind of learning about human nature and how some people are out there. It's so interesting. And I just feel like it's a good conversation. Hey, if y'all have any additional points or any, you disagree with me on anything I said in this or just any discussion at all, please comment. I would love to see that. I'm going to respond to every single one I see, if there are any, right? So, you know what I'm saying? If you comment, I'm for sure going to respond and let's talk about it, bro. Because that's the whole point of these videos is, let's start a dialogue. But anyways, y'all, that was episode 10 of Am I the Asshole? I hope you guys enjoyed. It was some real ones. I looked for the real ones and we found some real ones today. I appreciate you guys so much for coming to hang out with me and giving me even a shred of your time. It means the world to me, truly. If you want to see more stuff like this, hey, go ahead and subscribe, click that bell, all that normal stuff that people say at the end of the YouTube video. I hope you all have a blessed day. Make sure you shower. Make sure, you brush your yucks. Make sure you know what I'm saying? Good body wash in every crevice, or else you finna be walking around smelling like aisle 7. And depending on what store that is, that could be real bad. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.